Hello, there you are. How are you doing? Good.
That looked pretty awkward. Welcome to this edition of Cash Rendezvous. I'm Adam Larson.
And I'm Eric Price.
Jonathan May is here to tell us what that was all about.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty embarrassing, but it was well worth it for my experiment.
What do you mean experiment?
I don't think that looked like an experiment.
I mean, yeah, I get it, I'm bad at talking to the ladies, but there's a method to my madness. Take a look. We're gonna do an experiment to see if it's easier to talk to ladies while walking a dog. Hello.
Hi.
The snowstorm slowed down our progress to start the day. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
But as soon as we went inside, we had some success. She's a cutie.
He's so cute.
Y'all take it easy. Multiple girls seemed more open to talking to me. Even walking by, I was getting more attention than usual.
What's your name?
Jonathan, what's yours?
I'm Carity.
Carity, all right, nice. Overall, I can say Gertrude opened many doors for me, but I wasn't done there. The next day, I decided to walk outside without Gertrude and see the difference. Hello, there you are. How are you doing? Good. Hello, how are you doing? Good. I was very uncomfortable trying to start a conversation. Hello, how are you doing? Good. Girls wanted nothing to do with me now. Hello. I had to get a woman's opinion why this was happening to me.
I think we're afraid of like talking to people in real life, and so like sliding into DMs on Instagram or messaging someone on Tinder is so easy. But if you were to go up to a girl without a dog, it's weird.
So when you're trying to find love, who needs Cupid's arrow when you have a wiener dog?
Guys, I swear, that dog is the reason why I'm gonna find my soulmate one day.
I think you're gonna need a dog.
Alright, thanks, Adam.
Speaking of awkward moments, Kaden talked to some Aggies to see what bad dates they've been on.
That's right, I went and did some good old classic man on the street, and there are some terrible dates that people have been on. Let's check them out.
My worst date was an experience I had in high school. I think it was my sophomore year. I went out with this one guy from a football team.
The worst date I've ever had was a Tinder date. We were hitting off well, and we took her out to sushi.
Well, one bad date, it wasn't a bad date in general, but something that was bad / kind of funny that happened.
My worst one of all time was like when I first got my car. I was a sophomore, I just started driving, and I asked out a senior who was like super duper hot.
And I mean, at the time I liked him, and so he was gonna drive me, we were gonna go see a movie, and I was like really excited because I'm like, wow, it's one of my first dates I've ever gone on. But he was like, oh wait, we have to stop by my dad's place.
We got to the place, she didn't say a word, she was quiet the entire time. She asked me 2 questions, and one of them I had already answered in the car, and the other one, it was just like, oh, what are you studying in school? And I was like, math. I was like, you don't want to know, it's boring.
The guy ended up spitting his gum into my hair. He didn't mean to, but we realized later that he had not spit it on the ground. It was in my hair.
Middle of the day, I like went to go to the bathroom, came back, and when I went to sit back down, I hit my elbow on my bowl of pho, spilt it all over her and the table.
We stopped there, and I was like, okay, and he turned off the car, so I thought I'd get out with him, and then he sits there and he's like, actually, please, can you wait here? And I was like, at first I thought, oh, maybe he's just gonna be really fast, and I said, okay. He was like, my mom would be really upset if I brought home a black girl.
And so the entire time was us awkwardly looking at each other, me awkwardly trying to get her to talk to me, and in the end I cut the date hella early so I could go back to campus and study.
That resulted in me panicking, and then we had to cut a whole chunk out of my hair.
I dropped her off, I went in for a kiss, and she gave me a hug. And she was like, it's about to fuss though.
FYI for me is make sure he's not racist before I go out on a date with him.
I can't believe that guy spilled food on her and then tried to go for the kiss.
I know, that's a really poor move, and I just can't believe one of the dates was racially charged. It's just insane to me.
It's ridiculous. In the state of Utah, it can be hard for LGBTQ plus members to date.
That's right, Adam. There's really not a lot of places around here that are open to it. I took a look at 2 different ways they can meet.
Thank you, baby.
Drinks, dazzling colors, and discussions dominate Saturday night at the Suntrap Bar.
It's about my 3rd, 4th time.
For the Utah LGBTQ community, this is one of the few places to meet up.
Living in a small town is kind of difficult. It can be hard to find connections in romantic relationships, but at the end of the day, you just have to go to bigger spots to find better people.
I just didn't have a lot of other queer people to be exposed to.
You're adorable.
In the past, members of the LGBT community would have to go to a bar like this in order to meet others. But with the rise of dating apps, you can now meet people in the comfort of your own home.
I think dating apps are an amazing tool for the LGBT community because of the fact that you can go onto a safe space online from the privacy of like your own home and meet people and talk to people that identify as queer as well.
On a gay dating app, meeting up happens differently.
I think especially on things like Grindr, there's a big focus on sex and hookups.
He's kind of cute.
Gay men say
somewhere where someone can feel comfortable with being themselves is always a good thing. And for gays, if that happens to be Grindr, in a place like this especially, in a conservative place where there aren't community gathering places, I think anything's better than nothing.
Whether you're under the disco lights or on Tinder, some are just glad to be out.
Here I am in Utah, in Salt Lake City, in the heart of downtown, where a coworker, a family member, anyone I know could walk in and see me kissing this girl on the cheek. And I felt so happy to just be able to be who I am and not be scared for the first time in my life. And it felt so good.
The Suntrap in Salt Lake City is open to all sexual orientations and allies.
When we come back,
I think it'd be beneficial for everybody to learn more than one language.
Would you learn another language to better understand your coworkers?
The surplus store. Someone's trash is about to be my treasure.
We have cords and cables here. We have bags full of towels and sheets. Do you want this fold-up mattress? Because we don't.
We got keyboards, paint cans, whatever this is, typewriters, computer monitors.
It's destiny on the line, and we want you at surplus.
Products are not guaranteed to work. All sales are final. This commercial is not endorsed by Utah State.
Planning the right amount of food is hard. The Guestimator makes it easy. Just tell it who's coming and what's for dinner. Then it tells you how much to make. And yes, it even plans for leftovers. Try it at SaveTheFood.com.
I know who Valentine's Day is named after.
But what is the story behind the holiday of love? Valentine's Day is named after Saint Valentine, but why is the holiday named after him? One Aggie thinks Valentine's is named after him because of his connection to Cupid.
Cupid came around, was at war with hate, love and hate, yin and yang, and Cupid won the battle, so they named it Valentine's Day after Cupid's servant, Saint Valentine.
Actually, Saint Valentine married couples illegally behind Roman Emperor Claudius II after the emperor declared all single men must join the military. Valentine was martyred because of it, and people celebrated what he did to help young lovers of the time. So where does Cupid come from? The Cupid connection comes because he is the son of Aphrodite. the goddess of love. And because the holiday's about love, that means Cupid is in. What about pink and red that are so strongly associated with Valentine's Day?
I don't know why they're the colors of love. It just happened. I feel like they fit the holiday well.
Red is the color given to Aphrodite, and pink came upon later as a variation of red.
I think those are just like romantic colors of romance.
The commercialization of Valentine's didn't start until the 1700s, and Snow thinks it is a good thing.
I think the commercialized adds a little bit to it, which is, I don't know, I kind of like that aspect in some views.
Napoleon isn't big on the holiday, but says,
I think paying some more homage towards like St. Valentine instead of just like the whole idea of like Cupid and finding like a partner or whatever. It, I guess, it'll make more sense of the holiday.
and Napoleon both say the holiday means more to them now that they know where it came from. The Student Alumni Association added a ramp to True Aggie Night, and students say they are happy about the change. The new ramp makes it possible for people who use wheelchairs to become true Aggies. Students normally walk up and down the Block A on metal stairs. Now students walk up the ramp, stand on a secure platform, and walk back down. The association says it helps prevent falls for those who dip their partners, but the main reason for the ramp was inclusion.
I think it can definitely set a good tone on campus for more accessibility, especially for our students with disabilities. Utah State is great about inclusion, but I feel like that's one area where we can keep working, as we always can keep growing.
Students say they are happy with the change and the inclusion it brings to this old tradition.
The Gosner's Cheese Factory has a lot of Spanish-speaking workers, so they started an English class. Shay Densley joins us about to talk how new class is going the other way.
Yeah, you know, some workers are so good at English that those they work with wanted to be able to speak to them in Spanish.
Él toma. Usted toma. Él trabaja.
Students are working on verbs in just the second week of Spanish class.
Next one, caminar.
Workers say learning another language helps bring everyone together.
That need to want to be able to communicate between coworkers has been really kind of a driving force.
Everybody around this company is really close, so we're all one big group.
And does anyone know what sound it makes?
Program organizers say they want to create an advanced class in the future, but for now,
Spanish students learned new letters like the ñ and how to conjugate verbs to better help them talk to the people they work with.
So when do we use that fun little
The Spanish class is less than an hour every Monday. Some students say when it comes to learning Espanol, they
should have done it a long time ago, actually.
Enseño is the first one.
The teachers are from Aggie translators. The program gives USU students service hours from teaching. Organizers say, after helping out, you'll say,
oh yeah, that's a no-brainer. I'm staying around.
To volunteer for Aggie Translators, you can find a link on our Facebook page.
Yeah, you know, the English class gets about 3 extra volunteers every class.
Well, thanks, Shay.
Coming up.
We're just serving drinks, cleaning up messes.
To serve and protect is what police do. We'll tell you why these cops were serving coffee.
I'll show you a dessert you can make for Valentine's Day, and only for a couple dollars.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Body language.
without saying a word, it can tell you so much. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time. Time to call 911 immediately. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Learn the body language, the sudden signs, and spot a stroke fast.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back. Lisa Feinstein's here to tell us about this weird looking treat she's made for us.
That's right, Adam. These are called rugaliki, and my mom says that these are the Russian equivalent to a chocolate chip cookie. Everyone has their own recipe. Take a look at mine. Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make rugaliki, which is a Russian dessert, which basically translates to a cookie croissant type of thing. Here I have all of my ingredients. In this bowl, a stick of butter melted, and mixed in with that stick of butter is half a cup of warm milk. And then in here, I have 2 cups of flour. And then this is sugar. It's just to roll the cookies at the end. And then this is 3/4 a tablespoon of dry active yeast. And then these are our preserves. You can use whatever preserves you want. I chose cherry just because that's what I had, but whatever preserves you prefer. And we wanna make sure that we have preserves and not jam or jelly, because the thicker it is, the better. And then this is just some extra flour that I'm gonna put on the cutting board when I roll out the dough. I'm going to, first off, take this yeast and put it in with my flour. I'm going to slowly incorporate the yeast flour mixture in with the butter and the milk. And you can kind of just put in about like half cups at a time. Something that's good about this recipe is you don't need an electric mixer because it mixes really well by itself with just a wooden spoon. And then for the last little bit of flour, it's gonna get kind of harder because the dough is going to get thicker. When you feel like you can't really get it all mixed together with just the spoon, that's when you can start mixing it with your hands. I'm gonna move the spoon, and then my hands are clean and dry, and I'm just gonna take a little bit of this extra flour I have, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of it on my hands. And then just kind of do your best to get all of the flour from the sides of the bowl and just incorporate it into the dough. Gonna kind of just roll it into more of a log and less of a ball so you can get 3 even sections. So, 1, 2. For now, I'm just gonna set these 2 in my bowl. Keep reflouring your board just to make sure that nothing sticks. And then you also wanna get out your rolling pin and roll that in some flour as well. Your goal here is to get a circle that's about 11 inches in diameter. Now, I'm gonna set my rolling pin aside, and I'm gonna take my knife, and I'm just gonna cut this into 8 even sections, kind of like a pinwheel. So I'm gonna go once down the middle, and then I'm just gonna go once on the diagonals till I have 8 little sections. You want to make sure you don't overdo it with this, because kind of how I mentioned earlier, how the preserves can kind of seep out of the sides if you put too much or if you use something that's too runny. So just kind of eyeball it a little bit. I would probably guess about a teaspoon. And then you want to place it close to the edge of each little section. You're just going to roll these kind of like you would just a crescent roll, and be careful not to like push down on it and add too much pressure. Just gently roll it. And then you're going to put it in your bowl of sugar and just evenly coat it, put it on your cookie sheet. Now I'm going to put these into a 350-degree oven. You're gonna wanna bake these for about 18 to 20 minutes or until the tops of them are just a little golden brown.
Take them off of the parchment paper right away so they don't stick, and there you have it.
The truth, these things only cost a couple of dollars. I really want to try one.
Yeah, I added up all of the cost of all the ingredients, and I came to a grand total of, get this, $4.47.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
Logan police showed up in force to the South Starbucks, but not for a crime.
Cash Rendezvous' Brandon Dean shows you how they were serving coffee to the community.
Hi, thank you for choosing Starbucks. How can I get started for you today?
Customers visiting the South Logan Starbucks were surprised to see police officers serving their coffee.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I think I noticed there's a cop right here, like literally putting the cold brew in, and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Maybe his girlfriend works here.
Members of the graveyard shift volunteered to fundraise for the family place and meet with Logan residents.
A lot of times law enforcement, we see the worst of the worst and people at the worst time in their life, and we want to just be out here in a positive way so we can, interact where people can see that we're real people.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Officers served up more than coffee by handing out cardboard cutout cars and badge stickers to kids and just talking.
One of the police officers wanted me to speak because she wanted to hear my accent.
Yeah. I'm surprised at how friendly they are and how easy they are to talk to.
Logan police officers say that if you see them out in public, either at the grocery store or at a coffee shop like this, you're more than welcome to come up to them and have a chit chat or a cup of coffee. The day's donations went to the family place.
Oh, thank you.
We have therapy, our kids' place where children ages 0 to 11 can come play in a fun, friendly, safe environment while their parents take care of whatever their needs are.
Any kids, doesn't matter income level, doesn't matter what it is that you might be needing, but we know that parenting is hard.
Police say they are supporting the family place because they often use their services.
I've reached out to them plenty of times as far as not necessarily, housing for kids, but for getting parents in touch with these resources and these therapies.
They chose this Starbucks because
all the baristas know us. And
there's a number of officers on my shift that we come here, get our coffee during the day.
And it's fun. It's a good time. And being out here with the other officers and as well as the community is a good time.
Thank you. You have a good day. Appreciate it.
Brandon Dean, Cash Rendezvous.
Say it, buddy.
I know cops get a bad rap a lot, so I'm glad to see them doing events like this with the public.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Police actually raised $240 in donations. And if you'd like to learn more about the family place or make a donation, you can follow the link on our Facebook page.
If you're dealing with anxiety or like coffee and wine, a local artist might be able to help. Jennifer Reeves is a local artist by the name of Late Blooming Artist. She teaches people acrylic pouring by mixing paint in a cup, then putting the cup on the canvas to let the colors naturally pour out, but says it's more than just art.
The classes for me are about teaching people another way to express themselves, whether it's through trauma that they've had or anxiety and control issues. Painting makes you have to not deal with any of that stuff.
Students say they were nervous about the new technique, but are happy with the results.
Cheating on your girlfriend is definitely something that I can't get behind.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that, Adam.
But what about cheating in school? I can't get behind that either, but I did talk to someone who is behind it.
Taking notes on paper
or on a computer are both ways students prepare for tests. Cheating on tests is a different way of preparation to get a good grade. One professor says cheating is a big problem in classes he teaches.
Every semester there's somebody. And there's more than somebody. Every semester there's somebody I catch, or a couple of people I catch.
One student who didn't want their identity known wrote down answers to a test on a small index card.
Take that index card, put it onto like clothing iron transfer paper, trace it out, and then when you would take it and you would iron it on the inner thigh of the pair of pants you were wearing, so you would have a whole bunch of words on the inside of your thigh.
The student said the first time they did it, they studied and wanted to see how much it actually helped them. They ended up using the same method 2 more times.
I told one of my friends who was a senior, and she tried it, and she said it worked magically.
Professor LaPlante says this person deserves an A for their creative cheating strategy.
If I caught him, I'd kick him out of my class. And I would also congratulate him.
The student says they feel others aren't as dedicated to getting a good grade, which is why their method is so different from many others.
A water bottle with a new label printed on it, a hat with answers put under the brim, and cell phone use are all common forms of cheating. But LaPlante says professors can catch these pretty easily because of how much movement is required just to be able to look at the answers, especially in cell phone use.
Nobody in any other circumstance looks down at their crotch and starts moving their hand around.
He thinks professors should be designing courses where it doesn't matter if students cheat, because it won't help them if they do.
It would be really great if we could come to some recognition that you're only cheating yourself.
The student's final warning to those thinking of cheating:
don't cheat, kids. Don't cheat and get caught.
Such an interesting way to cheat on a test.
I can't believe that actually worked multiple times. Thank you for joining us of this edition of Cash Rendezvous.
You can catch all the latest editions on our Facebook page.
Happy Valentine's Day, Cash Valley. We'll leave you with some shots of that Russian dessert.
It's a big responsibility.
Oh, it's huge. I know, it's huge.
And the salary.
Oh my god, yes. I
Right?
mean, like, I was about to move in with my parents, and right before, yeah, so this saved me.
I really believe in you, you know?
Thank you. It's nice to hear that from someone.
These are cool. Did you, what did you...
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Can you concern with me? Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. 'Cause every kid across the nation deserves a book to read, and we can make it happen right now. No, I don't know what you've been told, but kids with books learn so much more. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite, unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time. Planting seeds of inspiration to motivate some magic. To change the writing on the wall, writing on the wall. And make a difference. One book can inspire a child. One book can be the first thing that helps to change a life. People unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.